When the Lok Sabha elections were held for the first time in the country in 1952, the other parties were campaigning in the normal way, but the Communist Party was campaigning through radio via Soviet Union's Radio Moscow. Here are the election stories, and I am Vidushi Gaur. Bharatiya Jan Sangh's founder Shyam Prasad Mukherjee had been a member of the Nehru cabinet. Similarly, Bhimrao Ambedkar, who drafted the Indian Constitution, had also worked in the Nehru cabinet. Ambedkar resigned from the cabinet and established the Scheduled Caste Federation just before the elections. In his speeches, he attacked Congress and said that it had not made any contributions in the upliftment of the backward castes. In 1952, election campaigning was mostly done through public meetings and door-to-door visits. Lord Birdwood, a British analyst, wrote in his article, "Election campaign posters were plastered on the walls, streets, and even statues of Delhi. People in West Bengal had devised a unique way of election campaigning. It was written on the backs of stray cattle, 'Vote for Congress.' This time was different. The method of election campaign was also different. The political parties neither had much money nor much resources. In a situation, there was a party whose election campaign was not being conducted from India but from foreign soil and foreign radio stations. Before India's independence, the Soviet Union also had its eyes set on India. After the establishment of the communist rule in Soviet Union, the government there wanted to spread the communist movement throughout the world. Therefore, the senior leaders of the Soviet Union were taking special interest in India, in which there were leaders like Lenin and Stalin. In this sequence, the Communist Party of India was formed in 1925. This party started building its base among the laborers and workers. When the Communist Party of India contested the first general elections, the then head of the Soviet Union, Stalin, was taking interest in these elections to help the Communist Party of India. He instructed the Moscow radio to start CPI's election campaign through it. Moscow radio started continuously broadcasting election campaign programs in favor of the Communist Party of India from its center from October 1951 to February 1952. It is also noteworthy that at that time the Indian elections lasted for 4 months. These were given broadcast by Moscow radio and then were given such power again from the Tashkent transmitter so that they could be heard in India. At that time, radio was the only audio medium for the people. BCC also confirmed in one of the reports how the Communist Party of India was promoted through Moscow radio in the first general elections. The Sabha parties were campaigning by holding public meetings. The Communist Party was the only party which got opportunity to campaign on the radio, that too not on Akashvani, but on the Radio Moscow. This radio station used to campaign for the Communist Party through its transmitter in Tashkent. A Madras-based weekly for educated people had published a translation of an article published in Pravda, in which the ruling Congress party was described as a party of landlords. It was said that their only option is the Communist Party, which is getting the support of workers and progressive people all over India. However, the image of the Communist Party in India had deteriorated because it did not join Gandhiji's Quit India movement. The party also took a stand on the transformation of state power through armed struggle in post-independence India, although it later changed its stance and shifted towards parliamentary commission. After the Telangana rebellion, the Communist Party of India was declared illegal in some parts of the country. Organizationally, it was in a very bad condition. Many CPI workers were in jail during the elections. Apart from the main parties, regional parties like the Dravidian Kazhagam in Madras, Akali in Punjab, and Jharkhand Party in Bihar were also participating in elections. Shyam Prasad Mukherjee and Jayaprakash Narayan were excellent orators, and large crowd of people were gathering around them during the election meetings. Just before the elections, political analyst Richard Park had written an article. India's major political parties and election workers are no less than any other country in mastering the nuance of election campaign, dramatic representation of political issues, speeches, and political psychology. although this was the first election of the independent India. The first vote of 1952 elections was cast on October 25th in 1951 in Chini Tehsil of Himachal Pradesh. Voting also started in Britain on the same day. The election results came out the very same day, and Winston Churchill of the Conservative Party once again became the Prime Minister of Britain after defeating the ruling Labour Party. The Congress Party got 364 out of 499 seats in the Lok Sabha, while Congress got 2,247 seats out of the total of 3,280 seats in the state assemblies. Congress got a total of 45% votes in the parliamentary elections, but its number of seats was 74%. Prominent among the losing leaders were Jai Narayan Vyas in Rajasthan, Morarji Desai in Bombay, and Bhimrao Ambedkar, who had to taste defeat from a very ordinary candidate, Kajrolkar. Even Nehru had doubts about the success of this election, addressing a UNESCO conference during the election campaign. He had said, "Undoubtedly, democracy is the best form of governance, but it remains to be seen what will be the quality of the people elected on the basis of the adult franchisee." Nehru was perhaps the only politician who could find fault in the election process despite being committed to it. But later, all the doubts were proved to be groundless. Nehru himself admitted, "My respect for the so-called uneducated voter has increased. He has proved wrong all my apprehensions about public adult suffrage." The election results were declared on February 10, 1952. Congress won 361 seats by securing 45 votes. CPI contested elections on 49 seats and won 16, while it got only 8 seats in Madras. At that time, Madras was not known as a city but as a province. However, the Communist Party of India then emerged as the second largest party. I will be back with another interesting story of elections. Till then, stay tuned. Jai Hind.